Hi everyone, John Resso with Wales Darby. Today we're in front of a A.O. Smith heat pump water heater. Just want to say it now, don't get overwhelmed by what you see going on here. We're going to go through it from top to bottom, but we took a standard water heater and turned it into a training device for us. So we've added a couple of meters to it and some hoses for cold water in, hot water out. We got shower heads over here to run showers so we can show the performance of the unit. But we'll just try to simplify and take all the fear out of heat pump water heaters. So everything from the gray down is a standard water heater. Okay, we did cut away the covers here, but right behind here there's a 4,500 watt upper element. At the bottom there's a 4,500 watt lower element. They do not work simultaneously. They will work one at a time as needed. From the black portion here up, this is where the heat pump lives. So everything that's going to go on with the heat pump side of this is going to take place up here, and we're going to start right there. So heat pump water heaters, why heat pump water heaters? The main reason is right here, efficiency. So this is a 50-gallon heat pump water heater. It will cost you approximately $120 a year to produce hot water. If this were a standard 50-gallon electric water heater, it's going to be probably closer to $700 a year. So full 10-year warranty. So over that 10 years, you have a warranty on this unit. Again, a longer warranty than a typical electric. With the rebates that are in play, very close on pricing between a standard electric water heater and a heat pump water heater. On the A.O. Smith version, everything is now off of the top. So this is our fresh air inlet to the heat pump. It has a filter. If the filter gets dirty, the control will let you know. So our air intake is going to be here. Our air exhaust is going to be here. And because we're a heat pump, we're in heat pump mode, this will be cooler air coming out. This can be left within the space of the home. Whether it's a basement, a closet, you need 450 cubic feet of air in order to support the demand of the heat pump. This can also be piped to the exterior of the home or somewhere else in the home, and you can do that with 8, 7, 6, or 5-inch pipe depending on how long the run is. So also with the new version of the heat pump water heater, you have the ability for top takeoffs or side takeoffs. On this unit, we are plumbed through the side. So cold water goes in down here, hot water comes out up here. We use the mix valve, which is kind of important on a heat pump water heater because we want to elevate the storage temperature. And then we've also installed the FlexCon pH 5 expansion tank to make sure that we can take up the expansion of the water as we heat it up. Currently, you see off the hot tapping here, I have a valve and a hose. Keep in mind, this is a training unit, so I use this just to bleed the air off of it and to use it as a vent when I'm draining the heater. So this normally wouldn't be here. The two caps come on the two side ports. If you're going to pipe from the side, you're going to move them up here. If you're going to pipe from the top, you're going to leave them where they are. If you are going to pipe from the top, this drop tube goes from here all the way down to here to get to the tank. So make sure you have a backup wrench on there on the hot and cold side when you're tightening up your fittings, because you have a lot of leverage there based on the length of the pipe. It's in there pretty secure, but it's important to get a backup on there. If you're going to pipe from the top, if you ever had to remove the cover right here to get to the anode rod or see what's going on with the heat pump, I would recommend leaving yourself some room. So if you're going to put valves right here, you're only going to have that much room to lift it off. You're probably going to eventually end up cutting the top. So to avoid that, let's just try to get our piping up a little higher. So if we need to look underneath here or change an anode rod, we got the space to do that. I mentioned the anode rod. This heater, heaters keep getting smarter and smarter. So within the control, we will monitor the anode rod. When the anode rod is used up and ready to be replaced, the control will let you know that. So it's an aluminum anode rod with a cast iron core. So as we use up that anode rod to take care of some of the areas where we got some aggressive water, the control has the ability to let you know that the anode rod is used up and that it's time to replace it. In addition to that, with these units getting smarter, dry firing of electric elements is one of the top reasons for electric elements to fail. We have dry fire protection now on these units. So if the unit is not completely full, you know, nobody bled the air out of it, and normally we go into upper element with the hybrid water heater first, we won't fry the upper element. It will hold itself off until it's surrounded with water. So onto the control, and we'll just run right in here tight. So out of the box from the factory, it will have a 120-degree target temperature. It will be set in hybrid mode. I hope you can see this on film, but there's a little green dot right there that tells us we're in hybrid mode. It also tells us right here, this is a picture of an electric element. It shows us that the electric element is currently on. There's a caution indicator right here. If there's an error code taking place, this will be lit and the error code will be displayed. Right here is a lock button. If you want to lock the control out, you have the ability to do that. I'm not going to show you how on this demo, but we can lock the control out and unlock the control on the job site. So the most efficient way to run this in our footprint is hybrid mode. Hybrid mode means the heat pump water heater will work, and it will also use the electric elements as needed. So again, back to elevating the target temperature, we'd like to store this tank at like 140. We have the ability to go all the way to 150. If I store the water hotter, that will give me better performance out of the tank. It will also allow me to run on the heat pump more than the electric elements, so that will make it more efficient. It'll keep our numbers closer to the $120 a year to produce hot water. So what we've done here, we put a couple of meters here. So I've had the heat pump water, I don't know, Brett, what did we fire this up, like 45 minutes ago?
Just about.
So about 45 minutes ago when we fired it up, I think we were at 26 Celsius with the hot gas. So the heat pump has gone from 26 degrees hot gas to 40 degrees hot gas. So we're right around 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So what's different here from an electric water heater to the heat pump is we're producing hot gas currently. And all the way down here in the lower window, you can see these aluminum pipes that run around the outside of the tank. That's what has our hot gas, our refrigerant in there. So we have insulation on the back side, and the insulation is thicker and causes the hot gases to force their way into the tank. So there's several wraps around this tank, and this white wire right here, that's going to our meter, and we have that attached to the aluminum pipes, which is carrying our hot refrigerant gas, and that's where we're monitoring the temperature. So that's how a heat pump water heater works. We turn the heat pump on. You know, if you think a Fujitsu heat pump, right, we can do heating and cooling. Well, here we're just doing heating, so we're producing hot gas with our compressor up top. That hot gas is being forced around the outside of the tank, and the heat energy is being absorbed into the water. So the heat pump right now is doing majority of the work, and that's how we want this to operate. So as far from an electrical standpoint, right here is the connection point for the electric. This is the same as a 50-gallon water heater. It is a 30-amp circuit that goes to the unit. That 30-amp circuit runs the heat pump and also runs the heating elements. And again, in hybrid mode, we can run the heat pump and either the upper or lower element at the same time. We just can't run both electric elements at the same time. So with this unit on the controller, there's a battery backup. So there will be a white tab right here. It says battery, there'll be a white tab right here. You need to remove that. If you don't remove it, you'll get a 48 error code. And that'll just tell you to remove it. So we have a couple of other buttons here. I just want to go through them. Hybrid is how it's going to come from the factory. If you're in a very warm climate, let's say, I don't know, you got a second home in South Carolina, and you want to put one of these in your home in South Carolina, you could probably run it in heat pump only. You would just push that and that green light would come on, and now it would be just heat pump only, no electric backup. We have straight electric. If you have a need to make it a straight electric water heater, you can push that button and make it a straight electric water heater. If you go away, you can push the vacation button, and that will allow the unit to run at cooler temperatures while you're on vacation. You have Wi-Fi capability with this controller. So if you want your unit to email you for whatever reason, filter on the intake clogged, anode rod used up, if you put the add-on water shut off, it will email you and tell you that you have a problem with your water heater, and it'll identify what that problem is. You also have Bluetooth capability. So if you want to sit on your couch and talk to your water heater, you have the ability to do that. Up and down arrows right here, that's what would adjust your temperature. You would push this and it would adjust your temperature. And when you get done adjusting your temperature, you would just have to hit the enter button, and that will make the change to the target temperature that you're looking for. If you decide you want to tie into the grid to get lower electric rates, this will take the 2045A controller and it will plug directly into this control, and now your electric company will monitor the use of your hot water, and if there's a need to reduce electric draw, they may take some electric away from you during the day and allow you to run it more at night. So that's an option. I'm not saying that has to be done, but this water heater is already prepped for that. Working our way down to water heater, again, this is a 50-gallon electric water heater. We'll give you over 66 gallons of hot water the first hour at 120 degrees. And if we add the mix valve, we can increase that. So I'm going to go down here. So with every single heat pump water heater we have, this is a water sensor, and we've taken this on and off several times. So right there, those two little metal tabs, what they're going to do, you're going to attach this to the side of the tank. And if the pan were to fill up, those two sensors would recognize the water. That recognizing the water, it will send an email to tell you that you have a problem at your water heater, and it will also set off an alarm with the control. If you want to go one step further, A.O. Smith has a shut-off device. So if this alarm is set off, the signal is sent up to the control. The control then sends a signal to the water shut-off device, and this will shut your water off. So it will immediately shut down the street pressure that's going to the tank. Depending on where the leak is within the tank, it will reduce the amount of water that leaks into your pan. So that's an option currently. We just launched a 120 volt unit, plug-in style unit. That is standard on that unit. And we will have another unit coming out later this year where this will be standard on that unit. It'll be the max. So again, this is the 50-gallon. We have a 66, we have an 80-gallon. So basically, what does that mean to you, the consumer, the contractor, whoever it is that's going to be purchasing it? If I take a $1 bill and I feed it into this appliance, I'm going to get $3.80 something cents worth of hot water out of that $1. If I do that with our 66-gallon, I put that in there, I'm going to get over $4 worth of energy for that gallon producing hot water. And on the 80, it's $3.80, in that $3.80 range again. So that's the value of going with a heat pump water heater. You do have the opportunity to save a good amount of money making hot water. So over on this side, so this is a heat pump. It's a heat pump, it's going to condense. Right here is the drain. We give you the clear hose that comes with it. It has to run somewhere. If you put it into a condensate pump or whatever, if you don't have somewhere to drain it from a negative standpoint, you can go to a condensate pump. If you go to a condensate pump and you want to wire the condensate pump into the unit to give you an alarm code if there's a problem, you can just cut this red wire that through your condensate pump circuit for your alarm, and if we see that that's a problem, the alarm will go off. It will also shut down the heat pump, and then you will be running on a standard electric water heater. So you get some redundancies built in here as a heat pump electric water heater, a hybrid water heater. If something fails on the heat pump side of the water heater, it will automatically revert back to being an electric water heater. Okay, so again, I'll go through the water side now. We have a brass drain. Okay, that's on all of these. They have a brass drain. Right here, this is our cold water inlet. So I am currently coming into this T, which is my main. I go through my shutoff valve. I leave my shutoff valve. I go into the bottom of the unit. I fill this up. We turn on the heat pump, electric, whatever's going to generate the hot water. This is my exiting hot water port. Yes, my relief valve is right there, and I know I don't have it piped down to the ground. That's something I still have to finish. I just want to point one thing out, and Brett, you're going to have to get real close here. If you tie into the hot water tapping here, you're going to see right there on the top of the pipe, there's a black magic marker. This is a J-tube. So that J-tube goes into the tank, and the top of the tank is way up here. So that J-tube goes in, and it looks like this. If that marker is at the top, the J-tube is in the proper position. If you get an insufficient hot water call, take a look if it's piped from the side and make sure that is at the top. If not, when they put it in there, if they didn't back it up, potentially you could have the J-tube downward like this. You could lose 8 inches of hot water within the tank itself. So just keep that in mind. We always want to back up that fitting when we're tightening up. So basically, I would run this at least 140 degrees, maybe even closer to 150, depending on the application. I'm going to take 140 to 150 degree water out of here. It's going to come down. It's going to hit the hot side of my mix valve. I'm going to take a portion of cold water up this way. The other portion of cold water is going into the tank. I'm going to take the cold and the hot. So 150 degree hot, let's say 68 degree cold. I'm going to mix them, and I'll deliver my 120 to my faucets. This will allow me to use less hot water every minute that the hot water is on, because I'm mixing more cold water with it, which will give me a longer runtime of hot water using the heat pump side of it. So that is a brief overview of a heat pump water heater. This is a demo unit. We have a van. We can take this thing pretty much anywhere we need to. If you're interested in a demonstration, bringing this to your facility, please reach out to us at Wales Darby, and we'd be happy to accommodate and get it out in front of you and go through all the codes and everything that you'll see. One item here that you have to remember: the minute you power this unit up, it will take between 7 and 10 minutes before the unit actually starts. So you will just see in the center of this controller three blinking lights. It'll go blink, 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 and it'll do that for that 7 to 10 minutes. While that's taking place, it's basically doing a system check, and it's making sure that all of the thermistors that are going to report back to it and tell it temperatures are out there and that they're operational. And then after that 7 to 10 minute run of test, it will go into heat pump hybrid mode set from the factory. That will happen every time you power the unit down. So just a heads up, don't panic when it doesn't come on immediately. It'll be a 7 to 10 minute run before that happens. So that's a brief overview. I don't want to get long in the tooth here. We appreciate everybody looking at our videos, and yeah, we can actually run some water for you too, if after we heat the water up. I don't even know if we got the whole tank warm yet, but we have the ability to show you that whether it's a 50, a 66, or an 80, we can give you, shower head flow rates, and you can see exactly what's going on with the unit. A little bit of air kicking. So again, this is available if you're in this heat pump market, or you want to get into the heat pump market. Again, the rebates make this very attractive. And with the government kind of driving this electrification, we're here to support you in any way that we can. So I'm John Resso, Wales Darby. Thank you very much.